Hey everyone, Nato here. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to kind of try and mix some of the stuff that I did in my last video with more of the analytical video essay stuff that I've been doing in the past, and I kind of just want to see how it works out. All of this was streamed at twitch.tv/itsnatoyt. I stream every day, except for the days that I don't, at 8 p.m. EST, so drop on by and say hi. I'll probably be streaming today when this video drops. And if you enjoy my content and enjoy the video, make sure to subscribe. It really helps me out. Now, enjoy. Alright, let's get into it. Today, we're going to be playing some Undertale. Gift Hands. And it is the first time I have ever played this game. But before we start this video, we have to go back to 2013. A Kickstarter for an indie game under the name of Undertale, created by Toby Fox, was announced with a goal of $5,000. The Kickstarter would get a lot of attention, garnering a little over $51,000, with 2,398 backers, reaching 10 times the original goal of the Kickstarter. Every stretch goal that Toby released on the Kickstarter would be met, extending the time intended to create this game by just a little bit longer. The game was put into development for 32 months, and finally, in late 2015, it was released. Undertale took the gaming community by storm. It received a score of 92 on Metacritic, and got runner-up for Best Indie Game at the Game Awards in 2015. According to Steam Spy, the game has sold at least over 2 million copies on Steam alone, and I don't think you can argue that it's had a huge impact on the indie gaming scene. In 2015, this game was everywhere. Just scrolling through YouTube, even today, you can find thousands of videos about this video game. There are thousands of memes that even transcend the Undertale community, and just watching about any YouTube video, you'll hear the music in the background. I don't exactly know why it caught on like wildfire, but it did. Almost everyone was playing it, and everyone I knew who played it told me to try it out. I honestly had every single intention of playing Undertale. I guess I just never got around to it. So it sat in the back of my backlog of games for a while, until one of my friends suggested that I actually get around to playing it in 2020. I thought, why not? I mean, maybe I'm 5 years late, but who really cares? So I started playing it and streamed my entire experience while I was playing. I already knew some tidbits about the game because, like I said before, in 2015 it was all anybody would talk about, but it is mostly a first playthrough. I knew the game was good, but honestly, it still took me by surprise. Here's my first experience with Undertale in 2020. So, I started my playthrough with little to no expectations on what I was going to do. I knew that there were different endings depending on what you did in the game, but I just wanted to play blind and experience the game for the first time myself. I played my way through the tutorial, which honestly was pretty amusing with the fact that in reality the tutorial really doesn't teach you anything. But the tutorial is really where Undertale starts to evolve and show its charm. The first thing that really caught my attention with Undertale, other than everything else that I've seen on the internet, was the combat. Combat in this game was something a little different, and honestly not exactly what I was expecting, even from what I knew prior to coming in and playing this game. At first, I thought you had to weaken the enemies, then click spare when they were in that weakened state, but I found out the hard way that's not exactly how the combat works. Okay, yes, I may have killed Goat Mom, but that was an honest mistake on my part. I wasn't sure if everyone you fought you could just spare if their health got low enough, and it was my bad. But again, as I was saying earlier, the combat was really something interesting. The uniqueness between fights really is what kept me going. Every single fight, except for the random encounters, had its own unique mechanic that would switch up your perception of how to fight and play the game. Even though most of these fights really did not pose that much of a challenge, they were at least unique in their own way, and the dialogue and different actions that you had to take to either spare or kill the characters was a fun way of getting the player attached to these characters and really making them decide if they wanted to kill them or spare them. The first real character that I personally wanted to spare was Papyrus. To me, he was just such a lovable goofball that I guess killing him honestly would have made me sad, even though he is just some pixels on a screen. I can't defeat him. The great Papyrus, I'd like to grant you pity. I will spare you, human. Now's your chance to accept my mercy. One thing that for some reason I struggled with was the puzzles. Like, I understand that most of these puzzles were made for like actual children, but for some reason I spent a stupid long time on a lot of the puzzles. But even though I sometimes had a smooth brain, I still managed to figure them all out. I don't know how to do this. Oh. Nope. What? Okay, so I can't step on orange into blue, right? And then purple into blue is fine? These silly quips that kept appearing throughout the game are really what gives Undertale its personality. The characters and the silly jokes are really what define this game and separate it from others like it. A lot of developers, even AAA studios, will fall into the trap of trying to create something that someone else has already made, and they may even create a great game, but they don't give the game something to distinguish it from the rest. Even if Undertale's humor is not your kind of humor, or Undertale is even not your type of game, at least Undertale does something to separate itself from the rest. And that was something that I noticed throughout my playthrough. But one thing about Undertale that I personally felt was pretty lackluster was the story presented within the game. Hold on, before you crucify me, let me explain. I felt like it is a story that has been told to me 100 times over, and in reality, it did not take that many risks. The story of a foreign hero traveling through what they feel like to be a dangerous land, only to find out that there's a reason behind the hostility towards the hero, was slightly a stale concept for me. But there's a big but here. The thing that really redeems Undertale and makes its story unique in its own way are the characters. The characters in Undertale are really what bring out the enjoyable storytelling experience that is found within Undertale. Each and every character feels unique, with their own motivations giving life into every single one of them. Every single character has their own unique goal, making me root for them, and hoping that they can achieve it. In my opinion, without likable characters, it does not matter how good or profound your plot is, the story will always fall flat on its face. One final thing that I think Undertale does really well was the fact that your actions with the game had real consequences. There are a lot of games with choices in them that make you believe what you are doing has different outcomes, but in reality, you are just taking a different path to the same finish line. But even if it's as simple as different dialogue or a character missing from a bar, Undertale will remind you that you killed off a character. Me killing Goat Mom had me so sad when I went into the restaurant with Sans and he was talking about how he would tell knock-knock jokes to her, and he has been waiting for her to respond. This honestly felt really bad, knowing that these pixels on my screen will never be able to do knock-knock jokes again. Undertale just had this way of making the killing of characters feel insignificant when it happened, but made me feel horrible hours after the fact, and it was a really cool and unique way of storytelling. And because of all of this, As I went on, I spared as many people as I could. I would still kill the odd random encounter, especially that weird seahorse mermaid guy, but everyone else I would spare. It felt weird, sparing all the characters that were supposed to be my enemies, but I did it. I made my way through the game, feeling bad for that one single mistake at the beginning of the game. I made it to the end, and then fought Asgore. This fight was honestly the only fight in the game that I honestly struggled with, and when I beat it, I felt some kind of relief. I chose the mercy option, and then, as you remain here, my wife and I will take care of you as best as we can. We can sit in the living room, telling stories, eating butterscotch pie. It's the flower, bitch! Now this was where everything went crazy. Undertale just put itself on crack and just went in on this fight. This fight was insane. This was a grand culmination of everything that happened in this game. I know that this was a neutral run that I did, and I haven't done the genocide or pacifist run, which I've been told have better endings. But this ending was still something crazy. Watching as Flowey kicked my ass over and over and over again finally made that moment when I collected the last heart even that much more special. Finally, at the end, after I had defeated Flowey, I chose to kill him because he was aggravating. Yeah, that's really the reason why. Undertale was a very unique and fun experience, and I would recommend it to anyone like me who was a little put off by the fan base and all the hype surrounding it, and just forgot to go and play it. Even if you think you know everything that will happen, there may be something inside of it that will still surprise you. Undertale was an incredibly enjoyable experience, and I hope that Toby Fox is still able to keep putting out games like this. Games with real passion from the developer, and games that are just plain fun. Hey everyone, Nato here, back at it again with one of these little end card things. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more like this, come to my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/itsnatoyt. Sorry that I'm advertising it again. I just would like to see some of you guys come out and play some games with me. This is kind of a new style of video that I'm trying to work with, I guess. Doing stream highlights kind of felt a little artificial and lame because I had been putting out more analytical stuff before, and I don't want to alienate my viewers who started to watch me because of that. So I'm going to keep trying to refine my experiences with these games that I'm going to be playing on stream and still do those analytical reviews for those of you who just want to watch the YouTube videos. So let me know how you feel about this kind of video in the comments, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.